Hello aspirants, looking at current affairs for 27th Jan. The news items that we have picked up from the Hindu newspaper are these 13. We'll look at them in detail. The first one, 10 die in Kashmir avalanche. So this is the army patrol and the camp in Bandipora in Jammu and Kashmir, where 10 soldiers were killed and 4 went missing because of an avalanche. Avalanche is basically snow sliding down. So it's a landslide, same as a landslide, but there it is not land, soil, rock, part of the mountain, but it is the snow which comes down. So this in Bandipora's Gurez Valley. So this Gurez Valley is a mountainous region with a small valley, and this is connected to the Kashmir Valley by a single pass. The only road connecting it, this is the Razdan Pass. So this has been affected because of this avalanche. Even with respect to official data from 2007 to 2012, it is said that 62 soldiers have died because of natural calamities in Jammu and Kashmir. So this is 1/3 of the total fatalities in this period. So this is avalanches like this which occur, which result in loss of lives. So what is an avalanche from geographical perspective? You should understand that too. And this is shown Gurez and the valley here, and the Bandipora Gurez road which connects it to the Kashmir Valley here. The avalanche you can see here, so it is a mass of snow falling or sliding down. This happens because the snow breaks off from the remaining part, and that happens because the top layer and the lower layers of snow generate a temperature difference. So temperature up is very low, so this is cold, but below it there may be temperatures going high, and the evaporation here results into this the snow being cut off, the top layer being cut off, and it's falling down. So it may slide down like this loose snow avalanche which can take place, or a whole block like a trough can flow down, or if there is an edge it can jump down too. So there are different types of avalanches which may be formed. The next news item is Soon Group Housing Scheme with Provident Funds. So this is EPFO, Employees Provident Fund Organization. So it has come forth with a proposal that a group housing scheme can be put forth. So this will come forth soon. This is a proposal given by EPFO to the Labour Ministry. So EPFO functions under the Labour Ministry. So Labour Ministries will look into the proposal. So it will enable the members of EPFO, Employee Provident Fund Organization, to form cooperative housing societies and use their entire Provident Fund savings towards buying land or constructing homes or paying housing loans. So housing loan investments too, because presently you can make only one-time payment as such, but now the Employee Provident Fund Organization is demanding that options should be there, that you can pay loan in installments also, housing loans in installments. So there may be monthly contributions received from this Employee Provident Fund. So presently only one-time withdrawal is allowed only for employees who have completed 5 years of service. So they are only allowed to withdraw around 36 months equivalent of that person's salary, and that will be for construction of a flat or for purchasing land as such, but one time. So now this will be extended to multiple installments payment too, and a complete amount can be put into these housing facilities like for constructing a house, buying land or paying installments. So this is Employee Provident Fund Organization, a statutory body which has been established under the Employees Provident Fund and Miscellaneous Provisions Act of 1952. So statutory body means body established under an act. It assists the Central Board of Trustees. So Central Board of Trustees, and they are under the administrative control of Ministry of Labour. So it covers even schemes, provident fund schemes even for Indian workers and international workers for countries with whom we have social security agreements. So they can also be covered under this Employee Provident Fund schemes. Then the next news item is Surajkund Mela to go digital. So this is a 31st Surajkund International Crafts Mela which will be held in Faridabad in Haryana. So the Haryana Tourism Ministry is working towards bringing in digitization here too, so that payments are facilitated. Digital payments means POS terminals, point of sale terminals would be made available. Even e-tickets can be booked. So Surajkund Mela is said to be the largest crafts fair in the world. So it takes place annually, and it's under the Haryana Tourism along with the Union Ministry of Tourism and Textiles, Culture, External Affairs Ministry together work towards bringing in this festival. So millions of visitors, including foreign visitors, come up for this Mela. It will be held for 15 days from Feb 1 to 15. So this is in 2013 that the fair was upgraded to an international level. And in 2015, we had 20 countries participating in this Surajkund Mela. So it is happening on a grand scale with every year passing by. Then the next news item is NGT to hear PIL on cleaning Ganga. So National Green Tribunal, NGT, has been transferred the case regarding cleaning Ganga. This we had done in news recently. So Supreme Court has transferred the PIL. It was a PIL filed in 1985 on cleaning river Ganga. So now NGT has said that it will be hearing this case on a day-to-day basis from February 6. So this is regarding an additional information regarding that case. So NGT is hearing it on a day-to-day basis. Already it is hearing matter with respect to municipal solid waste and industrial waste management with respect to this case. So also the Supreme Court had asked NGT to hear this case and submit interim reports every 6 months to the Supreme Court. So this is also there. The next news item is Republic Day show flexes military muscles. So the 68th Republic Day was celebrated with Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi of UAE as the chief guest. So at this we had the elite Black Cat commandos of the NSG and the indigenously built Tejas LCA light combat aircraft debuted. So there was a debut parade by them. Also, we have already done in news the 149 member marching contingent from UAE also participated along with a band of 35 musicians. So this was also a unique feature of this year's parade. It was only last year from 2016 that a foreign army also marched at the Republic Day parade. This was the French contingent in 2016 which marched on Rajpath. The other military displays were of Dhanush, the upgraded long-range artillery gun, which we have already done, which has been the improved version of Bofors artillery guns, howitzers. The ATAGS, Advanced Towed Artillery Gun System, which has been developed by DRDO, and the Akash Surface-to-Air Missile System. So these were also on display. So this is regarding Tejas, the light combat aircraft. The project started in 1983. First prototype came in 2001. So it takes a lot of time. Then initial operational clearance was given. Finally, final operational clearance was given in 2015 and it is expected to be inducted, started delivery in 2017-18. So we'll see. Then it will work towards expanding its capabilities to Tejas Mark II would be developed by 2021-22. So this is regarding Tejas. We had problems with its engine. The Kaveri engine which it had failed, which has resulted in the cost escalating too. Now, the next is Dhanush artillery gun. So this is under the Make in India project. So this was the Bofors howitzer extended. So the bulk production clearance has been given for this also. This you can see the army purchase. Dhanush will be the first gun to be acquired by the army since the purchase of Bofors guns from Sweden in 1980s. So this is there. Then ATAGS Advanced Towed Artillery Gun System. This has been a project started in 2013 by DRDO to replace the old guns in service in the Indian Army because we have not inducted any new guns since the Bofors scandal. So it resulted in Indian Army suffering because of this. So this ATAGS artillery gun system has also been developed and this will be user trials will begin in 2017. So this was also first publicly displayed in this Republic Day parade. So it's a fully indigenous towed artillery gun system. These are regarding the missiles, the Akash missile too, which was on display. So this is surface to air missile, range of 25 kilometers. Others are BrahMos supersonic cruise missiles, which we have developed with Russia. Then Astra missile, which is BVA, beyond visual range air to air missile. The Nag is third generation anti-tank guided missile. Even Barak 8 is a jointly developed missile like BrahMos. This is developed with Israel. So India, Israel are developing it together. So these have been the developments of missiles apart from others like the nuclear missile. So these are Agni, surface to surface missile, Prithvi, short range surface to surface missile, K series, submarine launched ballistic missiles. So ballistic missile means a missile which follows its trajectory. The trajectory means if you throw a ball, the way the ball would go without any other external force being applied to it. So that's called ballistic as such, the term used for that, the trajectory which it follows. So these are ballistic missiles. Others can be guided missiles. So after the takeoff too, they can be guided. So those are guided missiles. Then Nirbhay, land attack subsonic cruise missiles. So subsonic means moving at a speed less than the speed of sound. So sonic means speed of sound. So subsonic. Then as we saw, BrahMos was a supersonic cruise missile. So supersonic means speed more than the speed of sound. So these are various missiles which we have. Then the next news item is children with HIV treated badly in schools claims plea. So a petition has been filed before the Supreme Court by NAS Foundation, an NGO which works for HIV patients as such with them. The children who are suffering from HIV are enrolled in schools, but then they face various problems once enrolled to. First of all, there are problems in enrollment as well. They are denied admissions many a times. Many a times after they have been enrolled and detected with HIV, they are asked to leave. So expulsions take place. There is segregation when they are enrolled. There are segregation as such, they're made to sit separately, treated separately. So this segregation, breach of confidentiality, it's not supposed to be revealed that as a person who has HIV. So this breach of confidentiality happens. They are made to clean toilets and do other such menial works. So these are the treatment meted out to schools, which has been highlighted in a petition filed by this NAS Foundation in the Supreme Court, who highlights that children suffering from HIV in India is almost 7% of the total, and there are around 7% of the deaths which take place due to HIV are children. So there's a need to safeguard their rights. Right to Education Act is already in place. So there should be this right available even to the children suffering from HIV. So this petition has been put forth before the Supreme Court. They call it that this direct assault on children's privacy, autonomy and dignity is violating Articles 21, 21A and 14. So these need to be upheld for them as well. So Article 21 is right to life, 21A is right to education, free and compulsory education, and Article 14 is right to equality. The next news item is Ukraine lauds India for support over Crimea. So Crimea we just saw yesterday or day before yesterday. It was in news when we saw Ukraine first deputy prime minister would also participate in the Republic Day celebrations. So here Ukraine on the sidelines has commended India for not supporting Russia's claim over Crimea. So Crimean Peninsula, which is actually part of Ukraine, had been taken over by Russia. We saw this after a referendum which was held there. But India has retained a neutral stand. We have not spoken against Russia, neither have we spoken for Ukraine. So Ukraine is happy for the support, for not supporting Russia as such, which India has kept a neutral stand. So this has been the appreciation coming from Ukraine, because Ukraine-India relations need to improve, because post that relations did not see any further development. So that's why Ukraine is taking initiatives. It is interested because Ukraine earlier was part of USSR. So whatever military equipments, the relation which we had with Russia can be taken forward even with Ukraine. So Ukraine also provides us with military equipment. So even AN-32 fleet for the Indian Air Force was a contract signed in 2009, but it has not been completed. So Ukraine is keen on completing this, which stalled because of this Crimea crisis. Also, it is looking forward to other military equipments which India can buy from it, like armored infantry vehicles, patrol boats, space research. So these areas also are on priority for Ukraine with respect to India. So this is regarding Crimea also, the crisis. So in 2014, so this Ukrainian crisis is basically based on the change in regime in Ukraine too in Feb 2014. And after that, when Crimean parliament brought in a referendum, so it has autonomy, Crimea region in Ukraine, and it brought in a referendum asking the people to vote whether they want to join Russia or not. And the people voted overwhelmingly in favor of Russia, because a major part of the population is ethnically Russian. And Russia approved this referendum results and took control of Crimea militarily. So it brought in its military forces and took over Crimea in 2014. The next news item is China open to work with Russia, US to tackle global challenges. So China has accepted the proposal which has been put forth Russia has put forth this proposal that the three countries, Russia, USA and China, should work together jointly so that the world's problems can be amicably resolved. So this has been put forth. All three are UN Security Council permanent members. So for world peace, stability and development, they share a greater responsibility. That is what Moscow states. And China has presently approved this Moscow's advocacy of jointly working together. The next news item is Trump set to block refugees, restrict Muslim visitors. So this is President Donald Trump who has plans to suspend the US refugee program for 4 months. So it will halt all visas for travelers from 7 Muslim countries. So these 7 Muslim countries are Iraq, Syria, Iran, Sudan, Libya, Somalia and Yemen. So Sudan, Libya and Somalia are African countries, and Iraq, Iran, Syria, Yemen are countries in the Middle East. So all visa applications from these countries presently have been halted for 30 days. So this has been a step taken. President Trump says that is not against Muslim, but this is against countries, these Muslim countries where terrorist threat is looming large. So to ensure that the US soil is safe from terrorist attacks, these steps have been taken. Also, President Trump has plans to set up safe zones in or near Syria where refugees from its civil war can take shelter. So they will not be allowed to enter into USA anymore. Facilities will be made for their refugees status, camps be established in that country itself. So this has been clearly put forth as the proposal by the present US regime. So this is a draft executive order which once signed will come into effect. So it will indefinitely ban refugees from Syria. And from other 7 countries, Muslim countries, it is 4 months ban. Presently, 1 month ban visa application stall has already been put into effect. So this is regarding the case. It also, Mr. Trump has said that he would eradicate ISIS from the face of the earth, which has been the case which has seen him being supported to such an extent by US voters as well. But then critics also say that if you target Muslims, then you are bringing IS as the representative of Muslims, which the Western world is refuting, that ISIS does not represent Muslims, but it's a sole terrorist organization. But taking all the Muslims into one fold and linking it to IS would result in IS getting approval of its narrative that it is representing all the Muslims of the world. So that is what the experts are also warning against. Then this another proposal which he has is the Great Wall. So this Great Wall will be built separating, a physical barrier separating US border with Mexico. And he says that, President Trump says that this will be built with funding coming from Mexico. Mexico head has clearly stated that Mexico is not going to fund this wall. The US border with Mexico is 3,100 kilometers. Out of this, 1,610 kilometers will be covered by the proposed wall. But another reality is that the number of immigrants from Mexico along the US-Mexico border who have been apprehended have been reducing since the year 2000 when they were quite high. So this, since the 2008 financial crisis, we have seen the number of immigrants from the US-Mexico border entering into US have reduced drastically. Yet, President Donald Trump has initiated this proposal to build the wall. So this is here, it's shown, this is the US-Mexico border. So this shows how the wall is proposed to be built along this. So it would be a mix of high and low fencing, and already about 650 miles of the border has been covered. So this is the wall you can see here. Much of the region here is also private property. So how that aspect would also be tackled is another question. Also, there are threats coming from President Donald Trump. He makes various statements like he would not allow the Mexican migrants who are there in US to send their money to their home country. That is the way how he will make the Mexico pay for the wall. So he makes such statements too. Then the next news item is UK legislation on Brexit. So this is the UK government which we saw yesterday, and we have been following this Brexit case also. The High Court in Britain had passed a judgment asking that Parliament approval is required for Brexit. Only a referendum would not do, because even the referendum did not have any mandatory provision that the referendum has to be put into effect. So legislation, the Parliament is the supreme authority in UK, so its approval is essential. The Supreme Court also upheld this judgment of the High Court in UK, and the Supreme Court also said that even the initiation of the Brexit cannot take place. Initiation would be by triggering Article 50. That too cannot take place without UK without the government, the executive having the approval from the Parliament. So legislature's approval is essential, means a law has to be passed by Parliament first. So this post the Supreme Court ruling, just recent ruling, the government, Theresa May is the Prime Minister of Britain. So she has initiated a legislation in the legislature, in the Parliament, and this is only a small 2-clause legislation which has been proposed. So there will be not much scope for amendments. So that is how legislations are also initiated in some cases, so that they can be quickly passed. So this is how it plans to keep itself on the track, the deadline which it has imposed on itself. The government says that Article 50 of the Lisbon Treaty, which will initiate the Brexit process, Britain exiting from EU. So that would be triggered by March. So this end of March deadline would be kept, and the legislation is expected to be passed. So in few days there will be hurried rulings on this. Means the the lower house in the upper house in Britain should pass the two. That is the House of Commons and House of Lords. So they would pass that bill and make it into an act, and only then Article 50 could be triggered. So even the Labour Party says that we would be bringing in amendments. So but now how much scope would be there for amendments is to be watched for. They say that there should be some assurance that there will be a single market access, protection of workers' rights, environmental regulations. So all these are in place is required. Also, it is important that Article 50 should be triggered as soon as possible, because uncertainty is worse. Because after initiation of Article 52, there will be around 2-year time frame, after which Brexit will be completed. So the sooner it is initiated, the better. So that is why government is working towards this objective. The next news item is growth in India's oil consumption to be fastest by 2035. So already we have once overtaken Japan as the third largest oil consuming country. So US, China are the top two. Japan is the third. In 2015. We had become the third for some time. So this is India is Asia's second biggest energy consumer after China. So now in 2035 again we are set to become the world's third largest oil consumer. So it is because of the fast growing economy that this will be the status which we would have. So this shows our dependence on oil as such too. So India's share in global energy demand will increase to 9% by 2035, while China it would be 26%. The next news item is India mulls reviving old gold mines. So we have many colonial era gold mines which have been abandoned in recent times because of various reasons, like the economic activity of extraction becoming unviable, unproductivity, losses incurred, and they have been abandoned. But India has a huge import of gold. We are the second largest importer of gold in the world after China. So we import around 900 to 1000 tons of gold every year, and the local gold output is only 2 to 3 tons per year. So that is why if we improve our gold output, as such our trade deficit would also reduce, because after oil, gold is the second biggest imported item. So that is why Indian government, central government has now made initiatives to revive these gold mines. Specifically, it is the Kolar gold mine in Karnataka which has been selected as such for revival. And this Kolar gold mine is one of the deepest gold mines in the world also. Plus, it was abandoned in 2001. The operation ceased as such in 2001 after Bharat Gold ended its operations there. And over these next 15 years, the last 15 years post that, there have been various ways in which the central and state governments are trying to come up with a solution to revive it, but have been unsuccessful, with court cases also going on. So now central government has made another effort in this direction. So this is Kolar gold mine, you can see in Karnataka near Bangalore. Last news item is Smart glasses that automatically focus on what you see. So these are smart glasses which have been developed by a group of scientists from USA, including one of Indian origin too. So these smart glasses are made of glycerin, and this glycerin is enclosed in a flexible rubber-like membrane on the front and back. So glycerin is a thick colorless liquid. So this membrane as such can be go back and forth. So this is a mechanical actuator which are fixed here. So they push membrane back and forth so that the curvature of the liquid lens changes, and that's how the focal length changes, and that's how if things are closer, the way it is required to be seen, and the way when things are farther away, how it should be seen. So that focal length is adjusted. So this is also adjusted with the help of a distance meter, which is at the bridge of the glasses, means in between the two glasses there's a distance meter. So it will look at, using infrared light pulses, it would detect what is the distance, how far the observer wants to see, and based on that the adjustment would take place, and people would be able to see. If they want to see distant objects, they would be able to see. If they want to see farther objects, they would be able to see. So generally we see in old age people need these bifocal lenses, and they face difficulties changing their lenses. So this is another innovative way which has been put forth to ensure that you can use the same lens for both functions. So this is being developed, but now the frame is quite heavy. So the innovators, the scientists are working towards building it in a lighter frame as well. So these are the smart glasses. So these are the news items for today. Thank you.